Stop by any big box store this time of year and you'll find school supplies at great prices. And when you're loading up the cart with all of those pencils, glue sticks, and crayons, make sure you throw in an extra box of crayons for yourself so you can do crayon resist. Nothing looks prettier than crayon resist when done on daisies and sunflowers. Let me show you the tools and products you're going to need to do this technique. First, you're going to need some rubber stamps that are good for crayon resist, and I am using the 2 sunflower stamps from the new Autumn Splendor Stamp TV kit. Then you're going to need some ink, and I'm going to use some of the Distress ink by Tim Holtz. I'm using the color Mustard Seed and the color Rusty Hinge. Then you're going to need some good black ink. Now I like the Memento Tuxedo Black for this technique. You can also use Stays-On Black ink. And I'm going to use a white crayon, some Gina K Designs Pure Luxury white cardstock, and then I'm also going to use 2 of the applicators by Tim Holtz and Inkessentials, and these make applying the Distress ink very easy. The last thing you're going to need is a paper towel. So to begin, you're going to stamp your daisy stamps, and I like to start with the big one. I'm going to do 3 of the big one on this particular one. I'll start with one in the center. And then I'm going to turn the stamp and do one up at that angle and then one down here in this corner. Then I'm going to use the smaller daisy stamp just for a little variation and put one down here and one up in this corner. Now you want to give this piece just a little bit of time to dry. Now that the ink is dry, I'm going to begin to color the petals of the sunflowers. And you don't have to color perfectly or perfectly in the lines. You can just do a little bit of scribble on each of the different petals. And that's what's going to give it a little bit of a shabby look, but boy, does it look pretty when you hit it with ink. As you can see, I'm just going around and scribbling a little bit of ink on each one of these petals. Now, it's difficult to see here on the camera, but if you're not exactly sure if you have used crayon on all of the petals, if you hold the piece of cardstock up and you hold it at just a certain angle, you'll be able to see the shine from the wax from the crayon. You can't really see that very well on the screen, but you can definitely see that when you're doing it yourself at home. Now that I've colored all of the petals for all of my flowers, I'm going to start with a little bit of a darker ink here. I'm going to use the Rusty Hinge and one of the Tim Holtz applicators. I'm going to ink that up, and then I'm going to bring that ink from the outside of the scratch paper here into my project. So this way I won't get any definite lines. See how that just colored it up a little bit? I'm going to do the same thing with this side. Kind of hitting more of the center of the flowers, as you can see, with the ink. And for the last one, I'm just going to come in from the side here like that and add a little bit of ink. Now what's nice about the Distress inks is they blend so nicely together. So even though this ink is drying a little bit, when I start blending in some of that mustard seed, you're going to see how it all just kind of fades together. So now I'm going to add ink into those areas where I didn't have my rust. Now if I look at this and I say, gee, I'd like to have a little bit more rust down here, just grab that tool that has rust on it and add a little bit more in there. You can go back and forth and blend and mix until it looks exactly the way you want it to look. So now that I have my ink applied, the last step is to grab a piece of that paper towel, and I like to just kind of wrap it around my finger a little bit, and just rub over the surface of those flowers. And what that does is it picks up any ink that was just a little bit stuck to the crayon and removes it and really makes the white part of the flowers pop. And here's my finished project. As you can see, I've just added that strip onto the center of the card and layered it up a little bit with some black and white cardstock. And then I added one of the greetings from the Autumn Splendor kit. Try Crayon Resist using other color crayons for a different look. And if you can't find a crayon, a white birthday candle can do the trick.